Hey guys, TRX Travel Adam here. All right, let's get straight into it. I'm not squeezing for the toilet here. I'm squeezing my ab muscles and then I am stretching them. The reason I do this is because I want to take that same squeeze into the ab exercise we're about to do. The reason we stretch before and after is because that helps promote blood flow to the muscle area, and that's exactly what we want. Catabolic breakdown, chasing that pump. So this first ab exercise, I call it the jackknife, and you bring your legs right up and squeeze super hard the ab muscles for 4 seconds, then going back down for 4 seconds. And you notice I'll arch my back to stretch my ab muscles out as much as possible. We want to take the ab muscles from a stretched position to a very tight contracted position, full range of motion. You'll see I'm taking my time. As long as you're doing this nice and slow and you're in control, it's all good. If you don't feel comfortable bending and arching your back like that, that's absolutely fine. Just keep it nice and flat. But the key thing is here to make sure at the very top of that exercise, you are squeezing the ab muscles super hard for 4 seconds. So here we go, super hard squeeze, super hard squeeze. Now, while I finish that up, the reason this is an advanced program is because we are doing 2 sets, and on the second set, we are taking the muscles to failure. At an intermediate or beginner level, there's just no need to do that. You don't need to do that. We're also doing supersets, which might be too intense for a beginner or an intermediate level. And essentially, I'm not focusing, these are long tempos, and I'm not focusing too much on slowing down to talk about technique. I'm assuming you've already got a good technique with regards to this, although I will help with key pointers. So these next ab exercises are twists. Fantastic, but very hard to hold yourself. So really focus on getting that knee to the elbow and then down as slow as possible. You could see I could only do a few of them. And again, don't worry too much about the tempo here. It's more about just performing the action. Notice my hand placements as well. They're not out in front because you'll probably find it's a bit too much of a load on the wrists. They're slightly twisted and it just puts less load on the wrists, less chance of injury. Here, the knee to chest for the abs, exactly the same principle. We are squeezing the abs super hard at this very top point. If I can get there, super hard for 4 seconds, back down for 4 seconds, and up for 4 seconds. Just always think 4, 4, 4. The ab muscles are slow twitch fibers, so we need to take them through slow tempo. They're always working all the time when we're sitting or we're standing. And that's your 3 ab exercises, and now I'm just repeating them again. So we're going for a second set. You'll notice there's no breaks apart from a little breath. Same thing, and if you're like me, you're going to be pretty knackered by this point, so you can see I could only manage 1 or even 2 there. And again, the side twists, keep in control. This does take a bit of upper body strength, so if it's too much, then just go into a normal sit-up position with your bum on the floor, knees up a bit, and just twist the body nice and slow. 4 seconds one side, 4 seconds the other, and squeeze either side. I've done another couple of little videos on those seated twists if you search my my channel. And again, knees to chest, really squeeze it, really squeeze those abs. 4 seconds back down, and 4 seconds up to 4 seconds. Super tight squeeze, super tight squeeze there. And again, just a little break. And I then just finished it off with a plank. Very simple, but again, mind to muscle. Lock it in. Squeeze the ab muscles here. We're all about mind to muscle connection. Really squeezing the ab muscles, and I collapse, and then I go onto my knees. I'm still doing the plank, I'm squeezing, and then I've collapsed again because my ab muscles are exhausted. And that's our ab routine. And we're then going to immediately, as always, squeeze the ab muscles, lock it in, take that mind to muscle connection, squeeze, and that's the same squeeze that we want to be performing in the exercise, and that applies to all of our exercises that we do, any TRX exercise. And again, stretching the ab muscles out there to promote more blood flow to them. The abs are exactly the same as any other muscle, just a slightly different makeup of slow twitch fibers, but we treat them exactly the same. Okay, so our first back exercise are the TRX low rows. Now, you'll notice I took my time to set myself up there. I like to sort of start at where I'm going to end, which is the top, this position. I'm going down for 4 seconds, very slow, and I'm stretching. Look how much I stretch out my back there. Slight pause, and then 1 second contract upwards. I squeeze at the top super hard. I'm squeezing my lats right here, super, super hard as possible, and back down slowly, slowly. My elbows, I'm driving them down towards the floor and keeping them really close to my body. There we go, super squeeze. If you could see the front of my face right now, it would not be pretty. Super slow back down, stretch those lats. Remember, we always want to stretch a muscle as much as possible and then take it to a shortest range contraction as possible. Big stretch there and contract up. Don't worry too much. Some people might say you shouldn't stretch that far. Maybe if you're doing heavy weights and you need to remain more in control. We're doing body weights here. TRX is very good for matching our biomechanics. Let it stretch out and just engage first by retracting the shoulder blades back and then pulling. Now you can see I'm really struggling just on my last rep here. I think that was about 8 or 9 reps. Back down, stretch. And I'm going for one more, just about making it. Tight squeeze, super, super hard squeeze, and slowly back down. Now this is the first set, so we're not taking it to failure. Yep, and I can't do another one. Shaking the head. And then we're going straight into a superset with TRX high rows. So again, I like to start where I'm going to finish to get my feet positioning correct. Down, and again, you'll notice I'm stretching right out again at the bottom there, right to a tight contracted squeeze, all the way back down for 4 seconds. I'll put the tempos below. And back up and squeeze super hard for rep number 2. And back down. Stretching out, and the idea, the focus here is for the elbows to go out. So focus on the elbows going out towards the wall and then wrapping them around the back of your body to really squeeze the upper back muscles. So the low rows work the lats. This is working the upper back muscles. Nice and slow. 4 seconds down, stretched, slight pause. Engage with the upper back muscles to begin the contraction. Drive upwards, no swaying. Isolate the body, and I'm approaching my last ones here. Super hard squeeze, and slowly back down. One more, just one more in me. Yeah, I'm nodding, but I'm shaking. You can see I'm shaking quite a lot there. Now, I don't like to raise my elbows too high up. I like to have them a little bit below a 90 degrees, so a little bit below parallel to the floor. I just worry that if they're too high for my biomechanics, it might just interfere with my shoulder girdle just a little bit too much. And I find I can focus more on the squeeze when they're just a little bit lower. I find I kind of rotate and maybe bring in a bit of the rear delt if they're too high. Now, what am I doing here? I'm flaring my lats, squeezing them super hard. Again, what am I doing here? I'm driving back and squeezing my lat muscles super hard, trying to engage the upper back muscles too. What am I then doing? I'm immediately stretching each side of the lats for 15 seconds. So we're stretching, really promoting and helping with that blood flow and that catabolic breakdown, which is what we want. We're really trying to destroy these fibers with violent muscle contractions. So stretching to the other side now. Just remember the tempo on that. It was 4 seconds down, slight pause at the bottom, contract up, 2 seconds squeeze at the top, and 4 seconds back down. And that applies to the low row and the high row. In fact, it applies to all the exercises we are doing. All right, and now we're going into the second set. So that was our first set, which was a superset, and it was the low row and the high row. We're now going into our second set for low row and high row. So here's rep number 1. Just a little reminder, remember to really stretch at the bottom. We're driving the elbows down and back past the body, squeezing the lats super hard, and really focusing on stretching the lats out at the bottom there, really stretching them out back to a super tight, contracted top position. And there's that stretch again, and that's rep number 4. And we're going back down for 1, 2, 3, 4, stretch, pause, contract, squeeze. Now I've probably reached my last rep here, so because we're taking this second set to failure, what am I going to start doing? I've got one more in me. One more in me to get up. Squeeze, super hard. And now we take it to partials. So just little halfway pumps, squeeze. You notice I only went halfway down, and again, halfway. We're hitting the muscle across its 3 strength ranges here, so the ends, the middle, and the tight contracted. and now I'm holding it for a pause, so an isometric, and lowering as slow as I possibly can. So when I talk about the 3 strength ranges, I'm talking about the concentric, isometric, eccentric. Concentric is when we pull up, which is always the faster one. Eccentric is the slow lowering, and isometric is the static. By pushing a muscle to failure, we want to make it fail across all 3 of those strength ranges. So we first make it fail in the concentric, so I can't pull up anymore. We then make it fail on the isometric, I can't hold myself anymore. We then try to make it fail on the eccentric by lowering ourselves as slow as possible on that final part. And again, the high rows, I can't do many on these because I'm feeling pretty exhausted, but you see I'm getting that big stretch in, pulling right up to a tight contracted state, right back down, stretching out, elbows, I'm shooting them out to the walls either side and then trying to wrap them around my body. Yeah, I'm nodding because I know that's my last one and I'm shaking. So now I'm going to go into partials, halfway, little pump there, halfway, little pump if I can. And I'm probably going to have to do an isometric hold after this last one. Yeah, isometric hold, I can't get myself up. Slowly lowering because the isometric's failing and stretch it right out, stretching it right out there. And what do we do again after our second set? We squeeze, so I'm squeezing my back muscles there and I'm squeezing my biceps too, just to give them a little flex. Yep, again, squeezing the back muscles, really trying to pull my elbows right round and contracting them hard. Squeezing my lats here, really pulling the elbows back. Flaring the lats, so squeezing them again, really connecting with them, mind to muscle. Squeezing the last little bit out of them. And now we stretch, so slight different stretch here to begin with. Bringing the hands in front and really stretching out. There we go, really stretching out. That's it. Stretching right out and each side now. And we stretch out to the other side. 15 seconds either side, nice big stretch. And then we're going to go on to our final exercise, which is biceps. And we're starting with TRX hammer curls, and we're going into TRX reverse curls. Hammer curls are fantastic because they target the long head of the bicep, which gives thickness to the arm. The short head gives that peak. Now, what are we doing here? Exactly the same tempo, 4 seconds down slowly. However, you'll notice as I go down, first of all, at the bottom, I'm contracting my triceps because when one muscle contracts, the opposing muscle must lengthen. So again, bigger ranges of motion. So at the bottom here, I contract the tricep. As I contract up, I squeeze the bicep and I rotate my wrists out. So I rotate my little fingers upwards and my thumbs away from my face. And that's then engaging the shorter, the peak muscle of the bicep too. And you'll feel it. The function of the bicep muscle isn't just to bend the arm up and down, it's also to rotate the wrist. And try it yourself. If you squeeze your bicep muscle by just bending your arm and then try rotate your little pinky outwards so your thumb goes down, you'll feel an even tighter contraction of the bicep muscle. And again, that's what we want. So we're stretching it by contracting the triceps, and at the top we're really squeezing super hard on the biceps to really get a lot of breakdown in there, build a lot of quality dense muscle, nice and slow tempo, focusing on technique. So from them hammer curls, we then go straight into reverse curls, and I'm just standing a bit further back so the intensity isn't as high. And again, same principle, I'm going down, I'm contracting the triceps, I'm pulling up and I'm rotating my wrists again. This really focuses on the, I can never say this muscle, it's the branchialis muscle, and that's a fantastic one. It kind of lies on the top of your forearm and sort of sits underneath the bicep and tricep. And when you train this, it pushes the bicep and tricep muscle away from each other. Again, it just kind of gives a bit of width to the arm. Also very good just to build strength for this, for your biomechanics, functional strength. So again, you can see I'm rotating my wrists at the top there. This burn you'll feel is unbelievable. You'll probably feel it in your arms that you've never felt it before. Now what do we do? As always, what am I going to do now? I'm going to flex. So I'm squeezing those biceps, and you'll see I'm rotating my wrists at the top there as well to really bring in the peak. And now I'm squeezing them, copying exactly how the reverse curls did. So we can squeeze the branchialis and the longer head. I'll squeeze them again, just like that, and I'll squeeze them in the hammer grip as well to get the long head in. Really just squeezing, connecting, feeling, and then I stretch out the bicep and branchialis area. How do I do that? I put my thumb against the wall, 15 seconds either side, so I'm holding it for 15 seconds here, really stretching it out, switch it to the other side for 15 seconds. Nice stretch out, nice stretch out. This is a great superset. Honestly, you will feel it in a totally different way compared to just doing TRX curls. So this is our second set of the hammer curls, supersetted with reverse curls. Same principle, little reminder, let's go down for 4 seconds. At the top, we squeeze for 2 seconds, and we always just contract up for 1 second. We pause at the bottom, squeeze the triceps to lengthen the biceps. All about technique mastery here. And we twist the wrists at the top, so the pinky comes up and the thumb goes down. Squeezing super hard there, super hard. And you see I'm holding the handles as well. It just makes it easier. You might get a bit of a sore finger where the handles are digging in. That's just something you've kind of got to deal with, to be honest. Or you could wrap a tea towel around there, put some gloves on, would probably help. You can try holding it with the handles if you feel that works for you. Again, all our biomechanics are different. Find what works for you. Observe, challenge, and implement. And you'll see I'm reaching the end here. Slight bend in my back, which is a little bit naughty. And I'm just doing partials now, so I'm just doing partial pumps. Not focusing on rotating my wrist here, just focusing on just trying to pump the biceps. Static hold for as long as I can, and I fail, and I go down lower and as slow as I can. Whew. Real burn on the arms, real burn. Take your time to get yourself set again. Again, I like to start where I'm going to end. Reposition myself a bit. Down for 4 seconds. Contract the triceps. Squeeze the biceps. Squeeze and rotate the wrist again at the top. Super hard. Now I know for a fact I'm not going to be able to get many out here because my arms, yeah, you can see, again, my face is going to be pretty ugly at this point. Real strained face. And I think this might be the last rep, and then I'll probably have to go into partials. And the burn, I remember, it was getting real intense here. Oh, no, I'm surprising myself. I've managed to get one more out. Squeezing super hard, squeezing the bicep muscles. That's our focus. Even though we target the branchialis, still focus on that squeeze the bicep muscle. You will feel it. Yeah, and you see I couldn't do many partials there, and I couldn't really hold it for long as a static. So finally, on the eccentric, I failed, and it went down slowly. Now what am I doing now? I'm squeezing super hard. And again, contracting. And a little flex. I apologize about the screen going a bit misty, guys. What I realized was that condensation started to build up on the inside of the lens, which is making it go misty. I should have opened, well, I have got windows open, but I should have somehow got more air flowing through the studio. Anyway, I'm now stretching by putting my thumb against the wall, really stretching that bicep area out and upper forearm area out. And it feels good. It feels real good. Stretching again. And that's the end of our workout. So you can see it's quite a quick one. Obviously, I've done little cuts there, but it should take you with a warm-up about 35 minutes or so. And I recommend you watch this video next, guys.